So Phoebe, the next thing for us to do is to go up to the, let's create a new project in Audacity. What we're going to be doing in this second project is we're going to be importing your episode audio. So you mentioned you had a couple of episodes, extra episodes in the can.
Got it.
So, yep, file, new, and then we want to go file, import audio, and then you want to find your episode.
Yep.
Recording and.
Okay, I've got it in front of me.
Beautiful. So it's just opened up the Soundwave. So Phoebe, the first part of what we do with all of this is that mine's still opening. Is we just start, like I basically just listen through from the start of the episode. So this has already got your intro.
Yeah.
You should be able to hear what I'm hearing as well. Let's just give it a crack. So.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Happy Money Journey podcast.
Okay, so that's the start of. This is the start of episode 3.
Yep.
So you'll notice as I skate along here that I've put a little H down here at the bottom. I'll give you an idea of how that works. This is called an Audacity label. And I just call it H, which just stands for highlight. That's just a little code. So if I click on the H, if I actually click on the label itself, Phoebe, it will highlight the area of the audio that I've selected to be an H. And if I press the play button.
Money should be fun. It should be the tool that we use to enhance the actual life that we want to live.
So this is me just going through and having a listen to Phoebe. So I'll usually, for the highlights, I usually stick to probably the first 3 or 4 minutes of the episode because at that stage you're kind of, peppering or breadcrumbing what you're going to be talking about in the episode.
Yep.
So that's how I kind of pick those things. Now the limit is 60 seconds worth of these things. So it can be a little bit hit and miss getting it to roughly the right length.
Yep.
But you'll get the hang of it over time.
Okay. Cool.
So this one, for example, Phoebe, it goes from approximately, if you look at the top at the timeline, it goes from 1 minute 55 through to 2:02. So this is about 7 seconds long. Okay. So my usual practice when I'm doing the highlights is that I'll find the highlight.
Yeah.
And I'll show you how to actually create this little label in a second. But what I'll do is I'll go through, and as I create each of these highlights, I just have a little notepad beside me and I just write down 7 for the first one. And then when I find the second highlight, that might be 3 seconds. And I just have a little running tally on my notepad. And when I get to 60 seconds, I go, right, that's as much as we need. So then you've got 60 seconds worth of highlights. So I'll show you in a different section how we make these little H's. So let's say, for example, I've gone, actually I want this bit as well. Okay.
I am Phoebe Blamey, and I am so happy to be here.
Okay. And I'm saying I want that highlight as well.
But
once you've found the section that you'll go, oh yeah, that's a nice little breadcrumb to the episode. Here's a little clue, or here's a funny thing, or whatever grabs your attention. Then you highlight that section of audio, and then you on your keyboard. Can you actually do this? Can you copy me while I'm doing this at your end? Is that easy enough?
Yep, that's easy.
So just highlight a little section from your audio.
Yep, done that.
Now hold down the Control key on your keyboard and then press the letter B.
Yep, got it.
And has that created a little label for you?
Yep.
And the cursor is now just sitting inside the little white box.
Yep.
So in here, I normally just type H.
Yep, got that.
Beautiful. So that's how you create a label for a range of audio.
Yep, cool.
All right. And if you decide
Brilliant.
you don't like it anymore, then if you click on the label the actual little text box.
Yep.
If you click on that and then right-click your mouse,
Wait.
and that's right, you should see a little, can you see that? Can you do that on your screen as well? When you right-click the H, you've got delete label.
Yep.
And just delete label, and it's gone.
Yep.
It'll still leave that bit of sound highlighted, but that's not doing anything. You can just jump around wherever you want to go. So that's got rid of it. So just to quickly recap, it's highlight, arrange using the mouse.
Yeah.
Are you a mouse user?
Yeah,
good. So highlight the range you want with the mouse, press Ctrl B, and then press H. And then you can move on to your next highlight.
Yep. Awesome.
And again, at the end, just jot down the approximate length of the highlight. So this one I've highlighted now, 146 to 140. So it's almost 50. So I'd call that 4 seconds, yeah?
Yeah, cool.
And just keep a running tally and then stop when you get to 60. All right. And so I'll do that now. Now, how do you want to branch from here on in? Now, do you want to do this process now live? Like, would you like to do?
No, I'd like you to show me.
Show you first,
and then
you can go.
And then I'll go and work it out, and then I'll come back to you.
Beautiful. Okay, that's fine. Fantastic. Okay, so again, this is from the last episode. So I had the one highlight here. I've got another one a bit further up. Let's have a quick listen to this one.
We forget to look after ourselves when it comes to our money, because it is a little bit about self-care.
So they're cut pretty tight, Phoebe. Can you see how I've squeezed them right? So you can highlight, and you can move this before you do the Control B, before you do the label. Like, you can muck around with the range and get it right exactly where you want it. In order to do that, there's a handy little tool in Audacity called Zoom. And there's two things you need to know about Zoom. So the first one is how to zoom in.
Yeah.
And that's done by, again, holding down the Control key. And this time you hold down the Control key and you press number 1. So Control 1. I'll just illustrate that for you. So Control 1. Can you see how it's zooming in?
Yep.
All right. Now, when you want to go back the other way, you just go Control 3. So Control 3 is zoom out.
Cool.
And if you get yourself into a terrible pickle, then just use Control 2. And Control 2 will take you back to, like, basically normal view.
Okay, cool.
So that's kind of your get out, that's your get out of jail. Sometimes I get so zoomed in on the bloody thing and you're going, oh God, I can't even cope, and the cursor's moving so fast. So Control 2 is the nice little get out if it gets all too hairy.
Learning how to do my own podcast.
Yes.
Okay, everyone's sorted. Good.
Gotcha, Phoebe. So you'll find when you're trying to highlight those specific areas where you you want to trim off the leading breath, or you want it to finish exactly on a word and it's part of a sentence, then by zooming in you can get very, very, very tricky and go like right to that very point and just to the end of that point, and then just go back to Control 2 to move on and do your next highlight, right? So let's pretend that we've been through and we've already got our 60 seconds of highlights.
Yeah.
The next thing we want to do is we go back to the start of the file.
Yeah.
So by this stage, we've got all of our highlights ready. We've got them all labelled. And we go back to the start of the file and we just scroll through until we find our first label. And then we click on the label so that it highlights the section, and then hit Escape twice on your keyboard. Just jot that down and I'll show you what happens there. So I've hit Escape once, I've hit Escape twice, and it's turned the label to grey. Did you notice that?
Yep.
I'll do it again. So click H, Escape, Escape. So the second makes the label grey. Now what that
Mm-hmm.
means, Phoebes, is we can now copy just that section of audio.
Mm-hmm.
So escape twice and then hit Ctrl C. And this is only for the first one we're doing. And we're going to create
Mm-hmm.
yet another project. So File,
Mm-hmm.
New. So we've got another blank project.
Yep.
And when we go Ctrl V, it's just pasted in just the highlight.
Yep.
So what we're doing here, Phoebes, the end game here is that we're going to do this in turn for each of the highlights, and we're going to bunch all the highlights up together just in this
Yep.
single project, okay? Beautiful. So before we go back to do the second highlight, normally I'll just click, see I've got the cursor here. I'll just click it sort of just beyond the edge of the last one. Just leave it there.
Yep.
Now,
Right. Okay.
Gotcha. Now we switch back. We switch back to the episode, and then we just skate along until we find the next highlight.
Right. Okay. So what I'm doing is, as you're doing this, I'm kind of just doing it too.
Oh, great. That's perfect.
Cool. Got it.
Beautiful. Well done. Nice one.
Yeah.
So now Phoebe's switching back to her episode recording, and she's now looking for the next highlight that she's done.
Yep.
So in my case, it's this one. So again, I click on the label so that it highlights the highlight.
Yep.
Escape twice so that the
Yep.
H goes grey.
Yep.
Control C.
Yep.
And then I go back to my project, which isn't called anything at the moment. It just gets called Audacity. And I've already got my cursor in the right spot. And I just go Control V.
Yep.
So there's the next highlight. Now, the second time you do it, Phoebes, it doesn't copy across this label, but don't worry about that. We won't end up needing this. We only needed this to actually identify the ones we want. So again, we come to the second one. We go after the end of the second highlight. We click the cursor after that. So it's ready for the next one. And we go back to here, back to the episode. Tell me if I'm going too fast.
No, I'm getting it. I just needed to work out how to do the little space in between, but I've got it. I'm on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the cursor, because it filled the whole screen, but I've got it now.
Yeah, it's quite
there's a little thing down the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
So here comes the third one. So click on the label, escape twice, goes grey.
Yep.
Control C, go to the other project, cursor in the right spot, Control V, and that's the third highlight. And you just keep doing these until you've got everything, until you've got roughly, it can be a bit under, a bit over, but roughly 60 seconds worth of audio. So we're now up to 21 seconds. So, I can squeeze in another, almost another 40 seconds worth of highlights.
Yeah.
All right. Once you've got your full 60 seconds worth on screen, I'm going to do it with 20 seconds, so it won't work exactly, but it'll give you the idea. Once you've got 60 seconds worth of this stuff on screen, Phoebe, you just have to click. I never know where to tell people to click because it's there's no real good space to do it. But I normally click the mouse. Can you see where it says mono 44 there? I normally click the mouse just near that. So because if I do that and go click, it highlights all of the audio all together.
Yep.
So once we're finished, we've gone, right, here's our block of highlights. Maybe suffice it to say that you've got to highlight everything in white. Maybe that's, and you'll find there's probably 3 or 4 different ways of doing this. It's just that's my go-to.
Yeah, got it.
Make sure it's highlighted in white. And then we press Control C again. And this time we're going to switch back. We're going to switch back to your little intro, outro thing that we did first.
Yep. Got that.
Got that? Beautiful.
Yep.
And then all we do here is just click underneath everything. So just click underneath everything in the kind of dark grey zone. That'll make sure that nothing else is selected.
Yep.
And then hit Control V. So what that,
come down the bottom. Yep.
gotcha, that's it, Phoebe. So what that's done is it's just automatically made a new track, and what it's put for us here is all of our highlights. Now you'll notice it's all still highlighted in white.
Yep.
That's good. So we don't want to click anywhere else. We want to leave it highlighted in white. And then we want to go, up to the, well, this is the way I do it. I go up to the edit menu. And then I select cut. Okay, now that's got rid of it. It's cut it out.
Yep.
Now what I want to do, Phoebes, now this is the kind of the art bit. So you'll notice here that this bit of the timeline up here, this is Phoebe talking out the introduction.
Yep.
And then the end of the introduction is roughly around here. Yeah. So that's when we start to move to the quiet background music. And so we want to find that spot there and go, okay, so it's about, it's just before 45 seconds.
Yep.
We want to click on this bottom track that we made.
Yep.
We're going to click about here.
Yep.
And then we want to go Ctrl V.
Yep, got it.
Beautiful. So what we've done there, Phoebes, is we've basically said, well, we want the background music to be underneath the highlights, and we want the highlights to come in pretty soon after the background music drops down in volume.
Yeah.
So it's just positioning it in the right spot, really.
Yep. Yep,
Okay,
got it.
Beautiful, makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll just go backwards a little bit, and I'll just click on the end of your intro. Can you see where I've clicked there? So I'll click at about 30 seconds, and I'll just press play and let you have a listen.
Yep. Journey. Money should be fun. It should be the tool that we use to enhance action.
Okay, you like that?
All right, we like that. Made that happen.
I reckon we probably delayed it a little bit too much. I think I'd like to
you think too much music?
I think a little bit too much. So the way we can adjust that is that we can now highlight this little section down the bottom. So can you see how when I hover over this thing, it makes a little yellow vertical line? That's telling me that's the very beginning of it.
Yeah.
So once it's highlighted in yellow, Phoebe, that's when you grab it with the mouse. And then I want you to drag it right across until you see the yellow line at the other end. And it should look like what I've got on the screen.
So am I right-clicking the mouse or left-clicking the mouse?
Left-clicking.
Okay.
So just move the mouse in position until you see the yellow line, then left-click the mouse, and then hold down the left key and drag it over that whole range of highlights.
Yeah, got him.
Now that you've done that, Phoebes, we want to go edit, cut again.
Yep.
Yep. And then we just want to move it a little further backwards on the timeline.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I rushing you?
No, I'm just working it out.
Beautiful. So I think if we moved it back to, well, what would it be? Probably 40, what are the increments here? 30, 45, about almost 40, I think. So just after the sound wave drops down, I reckon that's the spot to put it.
Okay, cool.
So when you're ready, look up at my screen.
Yep.
Can you see where I've put the cursor?
Yep.
So I'm putting it right there. But I need to put it down in this bottom section.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then press Ctrl V again.
Okay.
So
cool.
Let's have a little listen to that. So go back a little bit.
Money should be fun. It should be the tool that we use to enhance.
So what do you think? Not much difference? Better?
Better.
Because I think people can... It's amazing the difference half a second pause can make to people's attention, to be honest.
I know.
So this way
Yep.
we've kind
No,
of got,
that's
we
really
just get the
cool.
fade, we just get the fade out from the intro so people can feel something ending, and then
Yep.
we can still hear the intro music, but it's quieter, and then jump on that pretty quickly, I think. And then people go,
Yep.
oh, right, now Phoebe's, this is
Yep.
whatever it is. If
Got
they've
it.
heard it before, then they'll know that it's you just going through some highlights from the episode, and they're going, have I got time for
Yep.
this, or do I want to listen later? That sort of stuff.
Yep.
Now
All right.
the final step in the preparation of your little, so these are your little intro.
Mm-hmm.
This is the final
Yeah.
step in preparing the little intro piece. Is that what we do? Is we get our mouse near that mono 44100
Mm-hmm.
again, and we click it. And this time we are also holding down the shift key. So click, hold down the shift key.
Yep.
And then click the 44100 underneath.
Yep.
I'll just do that for you again so you can see how the screen changes.
Yep.
So we're clicking the first one, which is the sound wave.
Yeah.
And then holding down the shift key and then clicking the second one.
Yeah.
See how it highlights the whole thing in white?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then...
Making sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, copy me. That'd be great.
Yep.
You got all of that?
Yep.
Now we go to the tracks menu.
Mm-hmm.
And then we select mix. And after we select mix, it brings up another little list that says mix and render to new track. When you press mix and render to new track, check out what happens. See, it's created a third file down the bottom here, a third track down the bottom. Mm-hmm.
Yep. This is awesome.
So what it's done, Phoebes, as you can probably already guessed, is it has mixed the two tracks together. It's combined them.
Yep.
All right. Now, even the stuff that didn't change. So it's just gone, oh, right, you want me to mix both of these tracks together with everything? And you go, yep, I want that, because we want the canned intro at the start. We want the highlight next. And then at the very end of the episode, we will want to copy and paste this as the outro.
Yep.
So this last file here has got all the bits and pieces you need to top and tail the episode.
Yep, sure.
All right.
Cool.
Now,
all right.
Now and so that's cool. Moving on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Beautiful. So, Phoebes, the reason I've left this little highlighter in here is that this, if we click on this little label, which is called intro and highlights 60 seconds, then it actually gives you the range down the bottom here. So what it tells us is that the intro and the highlights of 60 seconds, can you see how it's changed to yellow there?
Yeah.
That yellow vertical again. So if I click my mouse right at that end point and then swipe backwards with the mouse right to the beginning, and what I've done is I've highlighted the canned intro as well as the highlights. And this is what we're going to put at the very beginning of your episode. Okay, now this bit's going to feel a tiny bit awkward because we're a bit skinny on highlights, but I don't think it matters for the purpose of the example.
No, we're just learning.
Beautiful, exactly. So we want to select the intro and the highlights, and then press Ctrl C, and we want to go back to the episode project.
Yeah.
And we want to go right back to the beginning, which is this little jobby here. Can you see this little left pointing?
Yeah.
That means jump to the start. So if you click on that one, it'll take us right back to the beginning of the episode.
Yep.
So what you would do there is you would find where you start. You will find the beginning of your recording. So where it's Phoebe saying, "Hey, welcome to so this is you talking live in the episode. Hey, it's Phoebe. Welcome to episode 4 of the Happy Money Journey."
Yeah.
So you'd find where that starts, and then you would highlight everything before then, right up to the beginning of the file.
Right.
And then press Ctrl V. And
Yeah.
what that has done is that has put the canned intro and the highlights with the music underneath at the very beginning of the episode.
Right.
And then,
Yep, got it.
immediately after that all finishes, we should be into Phoebe's episode information.
Hey,
How's that?
that's awesome.
And then at the end of the episode, it's just as you'd probably imagine, actually. So once you've got
Just
that
do
all
the
done,
outro.
and then you just do the outro. So you go back to your intro, outro thing, and this time we just highlight.
Cool.
So we can just, now that's highlighted it, we can just go Control B, back to the episode. In this case, we're going to use the other button, which is like jump to the end, and just jump to the end. Find out where you finish talking. Doesn't need much silence, I don't think. I think it should go straight into the outro. So I would probably wait for saying, oh, she stopped talking here. So let's put it there. Control V for paste.
Yep.
And then
got it. Disclaimer. Just a reminder that the advice that's contained in this podcast is...
All right.
Yeah.
So there's the keys to the castle.
Excellent. All right. I will play with this and I will let you know how I go and we can get together and finish it off.
So make sure you save it. I think you'll be okay with... do you remember how to export an MP3 file okay? Do you remember how to do that?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So that's what you do for that. Then you've got your episode. As far as the other files concerned, kind of this little template for the intro outro, you won't. You'll get to a point where you'll go, well, I'm finished with you for this episode. You can just close it without saving it.
Yep. Cool.
Because
and then it just keeps the intro on it and everything disappears.
Exactly. Because what we've done is peculiar to the episodes, and I reckon that's the guts of it.
Okay. Cool. I will get onto it. You're amazing. Thanks for your time, Dave. That's
well
awesome.
Done. You are now an audio engineer, Phoebe. You now can put on your resume. Yep, can do multi-track.
Can do this.
Multi-track voice and audio mixing. How do you like that? And they'll go, ooh.
Love that. That's awesome. Thank
All right,
you.
I'll let you go.